We were an exploratory vessel, early 19th century, British-funded, a scientific mission, maps, journals, instruments. We were sent to confirm rumors of an island that officially did not exist, a place sailors spoke of after too much rum, marked on no charts. I was the captain and responsible for records. Everything I saw, I wrote down, or tried to. We had been at sea long enough for men to stop counting days and for habits to change. The crew wasn't violent or rebellious, just tired, sunburned, salt-stained, quiet in a way that unsettled me. The ocean was calm that day, too calm. No wind, no birds. The water looked thick like oil, and the ship moved as if something beneath us resisted. Around midday, the instruments failed. The compass shook. The needle wouldn't settle. One man joked the world was ending. No one laughed. The sky didn't darken like a normal storm. The color drained away until the sun vanished behind a wall of black cloud rising too fast. The wind struck hard. Sails snapped. Ropes screamed. Waves rose sharp and close. Water poured over the deck. I shouted orders, most lost in the noise. Lightning burned the air. Rain fell like gravel. Then we struck reef and stone. The hull split. Water rushed in. Men were thrown overboard. I held the wheel until it tore free. One thought remained. This was my fault. The ship broke apart. The sea swallowed everything. Cold, heavy, absolute. I fought it, like everyone does. The ocean won. The last thing I remember was hitting sand. I woke up choking. Sand in my mouth, salt in my throat. My body felt heavy, wrong, like it had been left behind and dragged back later. I tried to inhale and pain spread through my chest. I rolled onto my side and coughed until my vision blurred. Before I could understand where I was, I felt it. Presence. I opened my eyes. Bright sun, blue sky, palm trees moving slowly above me, waves breaking close behind. The sound was calm, almost gentle, and completely wrong. I tried to move. That was when I saw them. Spears. They were already there. Close. Too close. Pointed at my chest. My neck. My face. I froze instinctively. I counted at least 6 without moving my head. Women held them. Tall. Muscular. Their skin was darkened by the sun and marked with paint and scars. Not decoration. Proof. Their faces were calm, cold, focused. They were not surprised to see me. They were deciding what I was. Behind them were horses. Real horses. Strong, clean, well-fed. Saddles made from leather and woven fiber. That detail cut through my confusion. This was not some lost tribe. This was organized. Then I saw her. She stood slightly apart from the others. Younger, quieter. Her posture was different. Less tension, more control. She was watching me, not with suspicion, but with attention. A lion stood beside her. Not chained, not restrained. Just there, massive, calm. Its eyes met mine for a brief moment. I stopped breathing. It did not move. It did not need to. The woman rested her hand on its mane. That was when I understood I was completely powerless. One of the warriors stepped forward and nudged my leg with the tip of her spear. Pain shot up my body and forced a sound out of me. Alive. That was the decision. They grabbed me and lifted me without ceremony. No anger. No cruelty. I was weight to be moved. I tried to resist, but my strength was gone. My head spun. My skin burned. The world tilted and slipped in and out of focus. As they dragged me inland, I saw her again. She was still watching. The lion followed. The settlement appeared slowly through the trees. It was not primitive. That surprised me. Elevated bamboo structures stood on thick supports. Walls woven tight and reinforced with rope and resin. Platforms arranged with clear purpose. Guards posted at crossings. Movement controlled, observed. They knew what they were doing. They threw me into a cage made of thick bamboo poles, bound my wrists, left me there under guard. The dogs lay nearby, watching without sound. I lay on the ground and listened. I understood nothing they said, but I understood enough. Men were not welcome here. Men were rare. Men were useful. That night, fever came. My wounds burned. My head throbbed. Sweat soaked the dirt beneath me. I drifted in and out, convinced each breath might be my last. I expected to die. I didn't. She came instead. The same woman from the beach. She moved quietly toward the cage. The guards did not stop her. The lion walked beside her, filling the space with silent authority. She stood in front of the bamboo bars and looked at me for a long time. Long enough to make me aware of my breathing. Long enough to make me aware of my weakness. Then she knelt. She cleaned my wounds with water and crushed leaves. The liquid stung, then cooled. She wrapped them carefully with cloth. Her hands were warm, steady. She did not rush. She brought food, water, small portions, enough to keep me alive. She said nothing. This continued. Days passed, or weeks. Time stopped behaving normally. My body healed slowly under her care. Each night, she came. Each night, she cleaned my wounds, brought water, watched me breathe. Sometimes she stayed longer, sitting just outside the cage, watching my eyes when I was awake. There was something different about her. I learned later she was the daughter of their queen. At the time, I only knew this. She did not look at me like a resource. She did not look at me like an enemy. She looked at me like a question she did not know how to answer. One night, when my strength had returned enough to speak, I whispered through cracked lips, "Help me." She froze. Her hands stopped moving. She looked at me once more. Then she looked away. It took time. Trust does not come quickly when fear is the first thing you are taught. When it is repeated every day. When it is enforced with rules, rituals, and silence. She did not speak at first. Not really. When she finally did, it was broken words. Short sounds, gestures with her hands, simple meanings. Enough. She told me about the boat. A small vessel, wreckage from my ship, carried by currents, washed up on the far side of the island, hidden among rocks and trees where the tide could not take it back. Hope felt dangerous. I told her to come with me, not as an order, not even as a plan, just the idea spoken out loud. She shook her head immediately, hard, fast, final. Her people were her life, her mother, the law, the land. Everything she knew was rooted there. Leaving was not just escape, it was betrayal. I understood that, but she kept coming back. Night after night she sat outside the cage longer than before. She listened when I spoke, watched my hands when I moved, watched my face when I slept. The lion always stayed close. One night she nodded, just once. She cut the ropes quietly. Clean movements, no hesitation. We did not speak. We ran. The lion followed without command. For a moment it felt like it might work. The jungle swallowed sound. The darkness hid us. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would give us away. The alarm came faster than I expected. The cage was discovered. Horns sounded. Dogs barked. Horses thundered through the trees. Light moved between branches. They caught us before dawn. We were surrounded, dragged back. No words, no shouting, only force. They threw us into a deep pit, dug into the earth. The walls were smooth from use. Too smooth. No ladder. No way out. We waited. The queen came later. She was older than the others, taller, broader. Her presence filled the space around the pit before she even spoke. She looked down at her daughter, not with rage, with disappointment. That was worse. She spoke calmly, slowly, each word measured. This was not just betrayal. This was humiliation, a public wound to her authority. The sentence was clear. Execution, public. She left without another glance. We sat in the pit, after that, silent, close, my back against the earth, her body pressed against mine, her breathing steady, controlled. She was not crying. I think she had already accepted it. Time passed strangely down there. The sky moved. Shadows shifted. Sounds drifted in and out. Preparations were being made above us. Then the lion appeared. It came to the edge of the pit and growled low, deep, warning. The guards laughed, mocked it, threw stones. The lion ignored them. It turned, seized a thick vine with its jaws and tore it free from a tree. Muscles moved under its skin. It dragged the vine to the edge of the pit, dropped it in. For a moment, no one reacted. Then everything happened at once. We climbed. Hands burned. Muscles screamed. The vine cut into my palms. I did not stop. We ran, exploded with sound. Shouts, dogs released, hooves tearing through undergrowth. The lion charged the pursuers without hesitation, a wall of muscle and teeth. It bought us time. We burst from the trees as the sun rose. The beach was empty. The boat was there. She stopped. The lion stood behind us, blood on its mane, breathing hard, alive. She turned back to it, touched its face, pressed her forehead to its. No words. Then she turned away. We pushed the boat into the water. As we drifted from shore, I looked back. The lion stayed where it was, watching. The sea was cruel in a quieter way this time. No storms, no waves tearing us apart. Just sun and silence, the worst kind. The sun burned our skin during the day. At night the cold crept in slowly. Thirst hollowed us out from the inside. Our lips cracked and bled. Our tongues swelled. Thinking became difficult. Words felt heavy in my head. Days passed. Or maybe it was fewer, maybe more. Time lost meaning out there. We lay in the boat most of the time, too weak to move, too tired to speak. Sometimes she held my hand. Sometimes I held hers. Sometimes we just lay there, staring at the sky. I remember thinking that surviving the island only to die here felt like a joke, like the sea was laughing at us. At some point, I stopped hoping. I stopped planning. I just waited. Then a shadow crossed the light. At first I thought it was another trick of the sun, another hallucination brought on by thirst. But the shadow stayed. It moved. It had edges. A ship. I tried to raise my arm and failed. My vision blurred. I remember shouting, but I don't know if any sound came out. Hands grabbed me. Strong hands. Rough hands. Human hands. I was pulled aboard. Something cold touched my lips. Water. Real water. I swallowed and choked and swallowed again. Pain and relief at the same time. I remember her fingers gripping my arm. Hard. Afraid it would vanish. Afraid I would vanish. After that, everything fades. Time skips forward in pieces. Land. Doctors. Blankets. Questions I could not answer. Papers signed by men who did not believe my story and did not need to. She stayed close to me the whole time, always watching, always silent. Years later, I walked with her through the streets of London. After the wreck, I became respectable. I was a professor, teaching navigation and geography at a